Recording as of now. We'll probably cut this front part out. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Empower Healing series. Today, we are joined by Dane Johnson of Crohn's Colitis Lifestyle. He's going to be kind of chatting with us about his personal story and everything he's doing. And even if you're not someone who personally has dealt with Crohn's and colitis, you'll still get a ton of information out of what he has to share today. So welcome, Dane.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
I kind of lost my voice a little bit. I've been talking too much, so if anyone out there hears
That's been the story of my life. Where are you located, Dane?
I'm in New York City.
New York City. See?
Yeah. I spent a lot of time. Huh?
The internet's a beautiful thing.
Exactly. Yeah, I spent a lot of time in California. I lived in Santa Monica, California for 7 years, and then came out to New York for more work-related stuff. But New York is a great place. It's so active, so fast-paced. You just walk everywhere. First time I haven't had a car in 2 years. I've been driving since I was 14, so it's crazy not having a car. I kind of like it though.
Yeah.
You know?
Where I live, we have to have four-wheel drive. Not only do you have to have a vehicle, but you have to be able to get through some pretty serious snow.
Yeah, that's tough, but beautiful.
Yeah. So okay, well, so Dane, and just for everybody watching, like we said, Dane's going to be sharing a little bit about his journey with Crohn's and colitis. And as you're familiar with, we focus a lot on gut health, gut healing, prevention, and how really the gut is, and kind of a holistic aspect of that, and how the gut is really a center of all wellness. But each of these individual stories are just examples of really taking a proactive approach to your own wellness. So Dane, can you tell us a little bit about what the difference kind of between Crohn's and colitis, and a little bit about what exactly it is? We know it's a gut, condition, but can you explain in a little better detail?
Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't think there is great detail on what the diagnosis is of Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, and a lot of other forms of IBD. You know, whether it's through some inflammation found in the gut or camera shots from a scope, people are being diagnosed with this chronic disease. And, there's no denying that we have chronic inflammatory issues that are seemingly impossible to get rid of. I know I spent years suffering from constant flares, bloody bowel movements, weight loss, anemic, and nearly killed me by the time I was 26 years old. I got my first symptoms when I was 19. But the big difference between ulcerative colitis and Crohn's is the inflammation and disease is pretty much down within the large intestine for ulcerative colitis. Crohn's disease is more systemic of the entire GI tract, so it can infect anywhere from your mouth all the way down to your colon. That tends, in my experience, tends to be a little more intensive of the immune system being hyperactive, and can have a diversity of issues, whether it's in the stomach, small intestine, large intestine. So, there's a lot more to look at, I think, there, where ulcerative colitis is a little more targeted.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that's a great example. Thank you. And I know that, at least from my own experience working with coaches and even individuals, because we get a lot of individuals that will message us and want, all this information for personal healing. More and more people, I feel like, are dealing with Crohn's. And I feel like it used to be, maybe 15, 20 years ago, maybe it just wasn't diagnosed as much, but I feel like it wasn't as common. I feel like a lot of conditions, I feel like it's growing, and more people are having this happen to them.
Yeah, and that's a really solid point. I talk with a lot of people every single day who call me and say they were diagnosed with Crohn's or ulcerative colitis, and I kind of take that with a grain of salt. For instance, someone out there who could be having, IBS issues, maybe a little diarrhea, bloating. I know a lot of you girls and guys are out there saying, man, I'm just constantly bloated, or getting heartburn, or sometimes I just get urgency randomly. If that becomes a chronic issue, then the doctors are going to diagnose you most likely with Crohn's or colitis, which is a hard thing to understand, because you're going, wait, now I have this incurable disease. What happened? And we're kind of putting this in category as cancer, right? It's something that happens to you, and it's like, oh no, better luck next life.
Mm-hmm.
Cancer, you got Crohn's, and that's just not really true. It's for me, I think it's gut system, which is really divine in nature, being broken, and it's not very easy to repair or understand how to repair. And that's what this is about, is understanding how to heal your gut. And one of my favorite examples to tell people is, listen, if you had to climb to a top of a mountain every single day to get your water for your family, okay, and you busted your knee, and then you had to continue climbing up that mountain every single day to get that water, you would probably eventually die from the chronic inflammation on your knee of it not being able to heal. Mm-hmm. So the biggest difference between your knee and your gut is you can't stop using your gut. You can lay off your knee, you can put a cast on, you can elevate it, isolate it. You can't do that with your gut. You have to eat every single day. Then we have the stress response. Then we have the, the feeling of, I need sugar, I need fats, I need Cheetos. And oh my God, I'm having more stomach problems. And it's just this chronic walking on your knee type situation. And to the point where, people go, well, Dane, I can't eat anything. And I go, yeah, well, if your knee was that bad, you wouldn't even be able to walk. Does it mean you'll never be able to run again? No, you'll be able to run again. It's just right now in this moment, you need to lay off your knee. I like using a knee because it sounds a lot more feasible to people. They're going, oh, okay, I got a bum knee. I hear people who tear their ACL, and I'm like, damn, I'm sorry, man, that's terrible. And they're like, oh, don't worry about it. I mean, if we took
my brother-in-law did that.
Yeah,
tapped it.
Tearing my ACL to me sounds devastating, and people are like, I have ulcerative colitis. I'm like, listen, you have to take it with a grain of salt and understand that you're having responses, and people don't understand why. You got to look at life from an outside perspective right now. We are the first generation to grow up with pesticides and herbicides, pollutions in our water, this kind of stress, lack of community, isolated to our offices, and EMF waves around us 24/7. I'm surprised we don't have brain tumors yet, right? And we're wondering why all disease is systemically going up. So really, the sad thing is I want everyone out there to let you know it's really not your fault. You're surrounded by enemy territory and surrounded by things that are just not good for you, and they're destroying your natural body's defenses in life. You are a human being. You are organic from the earth. You are sprouted from the earth, and the disconnection from that is causing chronic symptoms.
Mm-hmm. And I think you made a good point. This is something that, you kind of alluded to, was that then, like you say, whether it's accurate or not, we go to the doctor and we get a diagnosis, and instead of having a bum knee or a broken bone, let's say, like you break your ankle, you think, okay, well, enough time off and the right steps, I can heal my ankle. But when you get a diagnosis like that, it's kind of like cancer. Somebody else is telling you have something. It becomes this forever thing, and it almost like, I think, and we know the power of like epigenetics and the power of mind over body, and our thoughts literally have an impact on our cells. So, how healthy is that we really take a diagnosis and really latch onto it, when it can be so, exacerbated, I guess, by the belief that we have something that we'll never get rid of. How are you supposed to heal through that when your mind is literally telling your body there's nothing you can do about it?
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, that's something I think that played in my favor. I was at a perfect time. Things kind of came together that allowed me to heal myself. One is I was old enough to be able to be empowered over my body. When I'm talking with a 9-year-old girl or a 9-year-old boy who's got it, I mean, it's heartbreaking. Or even a 65-year-old woman who got diagnosed when she was 52, and it's like, you spent 40, 50 years of your life without these problems, and then all of a sudden they're coming out of nowhere, and then they want to say it's genetic. One thing for me, I've never allowed people in power to tell me what is and what isn't. And for everyone out there, I think that's one of the best attributes you can have. This is your life, and don't let any beepity beep 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 tell you what is and what isn't. You are just as smart as them, or capable as being just as smart as them. Just because they have some information doesn't mean it's true for your life. And I had doctors tell me I was going to live on drugs for the rest of my life. They were saying I needed to get surgeries. They were saying that it was incurable. I hate the word curable because it does not serve us in any way. Let me ask you something. Anyone out there who's saying, oh man, I have an incurable disease, let's wipe this off your slate right now. Let's make our first value out of this talk, getting rid of this idea that you have an incurable disease. Let me ask you something. What can you cure? What? Okay, you can, let's say, cure depression. Does it mean you're never going to have a bad day where you get down on yourself or you're feeling in the dumps? You can
cure a bad week.
Yeah, well, exactly, right? You're in remission for a week and then you have a bad day, right? And then what about curing the flu? You go get a shot for the flu, goes away. Does that mean you're never going to have flu-like symptoms? So even if you're out there and you have Crohn's or colitis and you have a day where you have some diarrhea, or even some blood in the stool, does that mean you have this chronic deadly disease? No, it just means you had some symptoms, but there's a problem. And the fastest healing tissue in the body is in the gut. So it is very capable of replenishing itself quickly. And, you can't cure death. You're here momentarily, here for a greater experience and to find peace and find whatever your spirit needs. That's a bigger talk. But, you really got to let go of this idea that something's wrong with you and that you're disabled. Every single person I've met in this world has had something that they don't do well. Maybe they have a food allergy, maybe they have sinus issues, maybe they get swelling, maybe they have sleeping problems, anxiety. Everybody's genetic code is predisposed to issues, and it's meant to fall apart one day. One day your code in defenses is meant to come down and let go and go back to the earth. So in the meantime, realize that if you're having any kind of genetic predisposition to issues, just realize it's from toxins and your body wants to heal, and it has the divine ability to. So
I agree with that. Well, and also too, it's a signal a lot of the times too. It's not just something bad happening to you. Sometimes our body communicating. Like I'm sure when you deal with a flare up or, like you say, you have a bad day here or there, sometimes those are just your body's signals that like, hey, look at what you're doing right now, not just how you're eating, but maybe what's going on in your life. What are you feeling? How are your relationships? Are you nurturing this vessel that you were given? And if not, this maybe for one person, their skin's flaring up. For somebody else, it's a gut issue. For another person, it's depression or anxiety. It's all just a signal.
Yeah.
We call smoke alarm. So with your own kind of journey with this, how did you go from, did you initially, when you had the symptoms of, Crohn's and stuff, how did you what was your journey like from conventional medical treatment to then kind of deciding to go a different route and really take your own power in this?
And I think that was one of my gifts in life that has, been on both sides of the fence, but I've, again, never allowed people in power to tell me what is and what isn't. And when I had these, these white coats telling me how my life was going to go, I wasn't exactly laying down for that one. Mm-hmm. And for me, I wasn't raised around natural medicine or functional medicine. I had no idea. My first job was at Papa John's. I ate Papa John's pizza just about every night to save $1, making $5 an hour. And, I was just tenacious. I grew up in a small town where my dad had the same job for 35 years. I was just looking down the barrel of here's your life. And I refused that. So when I got diagnosed, I think one of the things was I had already done a lot of big things in my life. I had quit my job and became a professional model. I went to college and I worked for Oracle software and worked 60 hours a week, making $55,000 a year. And I eventually got up the courage to quit and move to California with no job, no family, except, just a dream and a restaurant job starting over. So, that was right around when I got diagnosed. And so I think when I made the decision to live the life I wanted to live, that was the catalyst to allow me to start looking for options. You weren't
just going to give that up.
Yeah, a lot of people are focusing on step 10. Step 1 is mind. Step 1 is really just, and it happens quickly. Tony Robbins said this. I love Tony Robbins. If you're looking for mindset change, he's one of the best. He says it can take years to make up your mind, but it can take only an instant to change it. And it was so true. When I decided I was going to quit my job, it tipped over like that. When I decided I was going to really make natural medicine my number one priority, it happened like that. And I'll tell you what stemmed from it. Everyone out there, you know how it stemmed? You know what really changed it? Was severe pain. Severe pain and shame and agony and upset and crying to everyone who would listen about how much I was upset about this prison I was stuck in. And no one could help me. The doctors couldn't help me. They gave me all the drugs. They weren't helping. They were just talking about surgeries. I didn't want to. I was 24. You know, and then what about, the drugs, like living on steroids and immunosuppressants for the rest of my life. And, you know, or just living in disability and moving back in with mom and sleeping on the couch and, you know, just conceding that I was a sick person. I mean, these were my options. So that pain was a catalyst where once I started reading other people saying that they had achieved getting out of this prison, you know, I didn't care how. I just said the goal is getting out. Just, I don't care how. Just, that's it. And I just started insatiably reading about that. And it came to the point where when I say making health your number one priority, that's where the mindset starts. It's saying, you know what matters right now. And one thing I work with my clients on is also showing them that the investment in their health is also going to make a huge investment in their dreams. You know, I mean,
their ability to live that purpose.
Exactly. My ability to quit my job, my ability to move to California, my ability to travel the world, my ability to be an entrepreneur, my ability to surround myself with the people I wanted to be surrounded. It all stemmed from me investing in myself. And to this day, I mean, even if I didn't have Crohn's or colitis, I would still make health and in eating habits and supplements a huge part of my regimen because it enables me to manifest the life I want. You know, I don't want to sit around for 20 years and say, oh, what about this? And I shoulda, woulda, or, you know, watching other people live theirs, you know, don't really care for it.
Your headspace does not function optimally if your body isn't in a good state. And I think, I love Tony, everybody, all my students are laughing every time they hear Tony come up because he's on my bucket list. He actually bought a house here where I live. So I'm just waiting, biding my time. But he talks about that too. I mean, he talks a lot about, you know, health and food and stuff. And people, for a while, I think they were like, who's this guy? And who's he to be giving us any kind of nutrition advice? And regardless of what you may think about these specifics of some of the things he thinks, his whole goal is, like, he does not drink at all. He has multiple dietary things because he needs to function optimally at all times, mentally and physically, to be able to be the powerhouse that he is. And a lot of people are dealing with chronic pain or illness or mental health stuff because their body's in a poor state. And therefore, they just go through the motions of each day surviving, basically, instead of really pursuing a life that's worth really being a piece of. So I love that you did that. I agree with you.
Yeah, there's one thing I want to say just before moving on to the next question to everyone out there who's listening. Willpower is sacrificial. All right. Investment is growth. Okay. When you just try to tell yourself to do something, you got it. That's faith. But when you surround yourself with the good energy, which comes from food, right? Which comes from good people, from clean air, from sunshine, from that music, when you get all that energy and you bring it inside you, that's going to give you the power to invest, just like the currency of money, the currency of energy. Invest in that optimal new way of changing your life. Changing is really, really hard, but maintaining is easy. You know, if you look at any type of people who try to maintain their wealth, their marriage, it's much easier to maintain it than to create it.
To build it,
amount of energy. So if you're in that position and you're saying, I just want to be healed, I want to gain that weight back, I want to get rid of these bloody bowel movements, I want to get rid of this SIBO, change takes an immense energy. So surround yourself with things that fill you up. Like if this conversation's filling you up, that gives you an idea of good energy.
Great. I love that input. That's awesome. So when you shifted gears and you said, okay, I'm going to go about this a different way. I'm not going to accept the lack of help I'm already getting, but I'm not going to accept, you know, just being on meds forever or having surgery. How did you kind of go about that? And I mean, you don't have to get into every detail because obviously, you know, that's a much more complex. You aren't gonna get all those answers in this conversation today, guys. Sorry. But just a little bit of a rundown of the holistic, which is the full approach that you decided to take to tackle this naturally.
Okay. So let me try to, so basically whenever you're trying to do something hard in life, you have to first simplify it and make it digestible. What does that mean? See what step 1 is and just focus on getting step 1 in front of you, and then being able to outline what step 2, step 3, step 4 is. So if you're saying there's too much information in there, just grab a section of it and take a bite out of that. So what I did is, the first thing I did is I knew if it was really going to happen, because I failed for years. And anyone out there who's failed for years, you know that feeling of you're just almost tired of hearing the talks or reading the books or talking about gluten-free and all this, because it's just not hacking it. It's because you haven't got enough energy to break through. And honestly, it's on you. It's your responsibility to heal yourself. And I just believe firmly, it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. Okay? If you're going to break through and build your life, it's up to you. No doctor can do it. Your mama can't do it. The money can't do it. You got to do it. So first thing, simplify it. A daily journal is going to be one of the best way to simplify it. You got a lot of information. Okay, great. With all that information, what are you going to do when you first wake up? What are you going to eat for breakfast? What are you going to eat for lunch? What are you going to eat for dinner? What are you going to do when you go to bed, right before you go to bed? And then find all the little things in front of there. So once you have your outline, then you look at your life and say, well, I have a job, I have a kid, I've got school, I've got all these whatever things. How can you work around it? And if it comes to choosing one or the other, you know what I'm going to tell you to choose. So a daily journal, simplify your daily protocol, read every single day from someone who you find inspiring, or someone who knows gut health, or someone who's done what you're trying to do. Most problems in our life, other people have had them and they've already been successful at them. So it's, you got to surround yourself with that energy. Words have energy in them, so they can be useful, but you got to look for multiple ones. So they say that you are a combination of the top 5 people you hang out with every single day. I say make one of those people, someone you don't know, someone who's a 1%er, someone who's achieved things you'll never think you're going to be able to achieve. So every day you're going, I'm listening to their podcast for at least 20 minutes, or I'm reading the book for 20 minutes. I made this like my top 4 people. Like I was reading
Tony right here.
Yeah.
That's Tony.
I read all the Tony books. I read all the Jordan, and I really focused in the beginning a lot on Crohn's colitis. So I read all of Jordan Rubin's books. I read Elaine Godshall's book, Breaking the Vicious Cycle. I read Dr. Susan Blum, The Autoimmune Recovery System. Once I stopped listening to your gut, Jeannie Patel, once I stopped to get, all the IBD type stuff, I then went straight to spiritual. I went to, how can I keep my mind healthy? Because I haven't eaten food in so long. I'm not leaving my house. I'm not going out drinking. I'm not going out and hanging out with people on Friday night, because I was so severely sick. So I was looking for ways to nourish my system. And for anyone out there who's looking for something tangible, have you ever had a Friday night, and you're in a brand new relationship, you guys really love each other, and you don't even want to go anywhere? You're like, let's just stay and watch a movie and hang out with each other. It's because you guys are fulfilling each other. You don't really need, you're like, why are we going to go to a bar? Why are we going to go to a club? Why? No, we're going to stay right here. So so that is the idea of fulfillment. And I started reading and finding ways to nourish me that allowed me to keep up with it. So that's that breaking point of like, oh, I've been gluten-free for 2 weeks, or I've been dieting, or maybe I've done a liquid diet for 2 weeks. What's going to change there is your spirit, nourishing, the energy. You have to get a lot of energy invested in you. So I started gardening every single day. Luckily, I lived in California where I was in the sun every single day. I had a playlist for every part of the day. So I had a playlist I would only listen to at breakfast, because I didn't want to get over those songs. So those songs kept picking me up. When you love a song and you're like, oh, I can listen to it 100 times? No, listen to it once. So every time you listen to it, it keeps giving you that jolt. So I'd have like a cooking playlist. I'd have a meditation or Epsom salt bath playlist. I'd have a gardening jams, which was like total reggae, hands in the dirt, backwards hat with my cane just out there, like, And then and every day, even if I couldn't work out or my muscles needed a break, I went to the gym every single day, because it was part of my routine of getting in that energy and being around people who are strong and who are pushing themselves. So I found really it's just all those things are about really deciding to when you put your energy there, you're going to find solutions. The problem is
toughness too.
Fear. Yeah. So the problem is the fear of it, I think.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I hope that helped everybody.
Yeah, no, that's great. And so tell us a little bit about how you have taken, and I have to use this term lightly because technically speaking, I know it's a taboo word, but I consider us, people that do what we do, and people that do a lot of other things, healers in a sense, whether you're a life coach or a massage therapist or acupuncturist or anything. Whenever you're in something or a line of work or a profession or a service where you give of yourself to other people, it is a form of healing work, I believe. And a lot of us, most of us, I'd say 99% who are in some kind of healing profession are there because our heart is in that place, because usually we have suffered in some form of another, and we've grown enough through our pain, not perfectly. We are all a work in progress, but we've grown enough through that pain to realize that it's not the end result, and to want to see other people uplifted to the potential that they have the ability to be. And so we tend to take that, and if we do the right thing with that passion, we tend to sometimes find a lot of purpose out of the hard times in life and actually give a lot. So you have definitely done that with your situation. Can you tell us a little bit about Crohn's and Colitis Lifestyle?
So Crohn's and Colitis Lifestyle was my way of taking the worst thing that ever happened to me and making it the best thing. It was exactly what I needed when I was healing. It was a resource where I could not be told the perfect diet or be told the perfect supplement, but someone who could listen to where I was and help me find solutions for me. So Crohn's Colitis Lifestyle is, a very specific business that helps people who are chronically dealing with Crohn's and ulcerative colitis and help them find options for them. So right now it has a lot of one-on-one consulting. I offer one-on-one for people who are chronically sick. I've worked with 9-year-old girls to 65-year-old guys, hundreds of people around the world. I'm pretty specific about where I work now because it's very tough with language barrier and timing, and also getting the right type of supplements and herbs and diet to those people. So, anyone out there who's thinking about starting a business, just because you're a great healer doesn't mean you're a good business person. And I see a lot of doctors who are struggling with the business because they don't know how to create value in cash flow systems. So don't let everyone take you down with the ship. If you got a really good thing and you've healed yourself and you're trying to help people out there, you got to help yourself before you can help them. Get your system afloat. Side note, but Crohn's Colitis Lifestyle is about showing people how to invest in their health to give them the life they want. That's the overall mission. It's not sacrificial. I don't teach people how to be bubble boys, I call them, where you have to live this specific diet or you can't ever eat these foods. At a certain point, I actually advocate people to cheat and eat whatever they want, not because it's good for you, but because I want to show people that they're not disabled, they're not broken, and that they can be okay. So once a person gets to a healing point, I'll usually say, pick a restaurant close to your house, go there, eat whatever you want, and come home, and you do your program to make sure that you minimize any kind of symptoms or inflammation. That's obviously for someone who's now at a level where they're getting no symptoms. They are where they want to be with any kind of drug use or anything of that nature. But it's really about self-empowerment and customizing it to the person. So that program is called SHIELD. That's my program. After I healed myself, I looked around and I said, how did I do this? And I said, well, I did a bunch of stuff, but it wasn't one thing. It was everything combined into a huge amount of energy that really did it. So that's what SHIELD is. It's your natural shield in life to defend yourself against IBD, Crohn's or colitis, and be able to build into the life you want. So that's an acronym that stands for supplements, herbs, imagination, exercise, lifestyle, and diet. Through those 6 pillars of health, we customize your SHIELD program, your ultimate healing program. And it can always be bent and moved and changed. And whenever you're feeling like you're not getting somewhere, you can always look at your SHIELD and say, how can I simplify it? What supplements am I taking and why? What herbs? Where do I want to go with this? Why am I even doing this? A lot of times you'd be surprised that you're doing things out of fear, not because you want to gain something in your life.
Not out of empowerment.
Yeah, sacrifice will always be willpower, and willpower usually will make you stressed. So, and then exercise. I mean, I grew up as a personal trainer. I've been in Men's Health Magazine and Men's Fitness Magazine. I've been a model for 8 years. So, trying to, a lot of guys, I want to speak to you real quick. Girls probably get this too, but when I started modeling, I you know, I came from a corporate world where I lost 20 pounds and I gained all this muscle and I got my body as good as possible so I could take pictures as good as possible. And that was how I was living. And when I was exercising, it wasn't for my health. It was for my ego. It was for my, it was for vanity. And it was no longer health and fitness. It was health or fitness. So I was actually sacrificing my health to put on muscle or to make my abs better and stuff like that. And I'm gonna tell you, you know, you can have that back. I've gained, you know, I got all my weight back, and I'm not as big and strong and bulky as I used to be, but that's okay because I don't care. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's just your ego talking. So, but I've been able to get back my health, but also do it from a point that makes sense with fitness. So with the exercise, ask yourself, are you exercising for your health or are you exercising for your ego? You can have both, but you need to start with your health and you need to heal yourself and heal root cause. So, and then the last two, lifestyle. Lifestyle is really about identifying energy. You know, when people say, man, I wish I had a better lifestyle, what are you saying? You're saying that you wish you had better energy, better people around you, more freedom, more time, more experience, less shit you have to deal with, right? Which is just negative energy you're deflecting. The lifestyle is identifying the energy, eliminating the negative, increasing the positive, which is really about, you know, starting to cultivate the life you want to live. And the diet part, I don't really like the word diet, but it fits with Shield, right? How are you empowering yourself? When I look at food, I'm saying, is this, you know, I really see it as fuel for my dreams, you know? And I think it's sexy. You know, I was saying the other day, like, you know, when I was laughing with a friend that when I see a girl order organic plant-based, I kind of look twice at her because I think it's hot, you know? I'm like,
you mean a double cheeseburger doesn't do it for you?
Oh man, it's like, you know how some people say they think it's unattractive when people are smoking foods and stuff. Like I think it's sexy when someone's ordering organic and eating.
Well, it means they care. They have self-care is a big deal.
Yeah, the same thing with someone in there doing, you know, to do push-ups and running and stuff. It's like attractive to see someone like getting it, right? And you're like, damn, like they're like getting it, because diet is way more important than exercise. And I'll see in the gym all the time these people who are trying to, you know, girls, you're trying to get your butts bigger and your waist smaller, and the guys trying to get their arms bigger and their chest bigger and their abs good, and they're trying to look like Hercules, and they're sacrificing their health and they're drinking these shitty GNC products and taking all this shit that's messing up their insides.
And then they're messaging me about why they're chronically constipated and bad skin.
Yeah. Or they have cystic acne everywhere.
Yes.
You know, if you're getting that acne on the back or your chest, that is a huge problem with your liver, with your adrenal glands, with gut permeability. Your body is screaming at you and you're just doing it for 2 inches larger arms. And if your girlfriend really cares that much about your arms being 2 inches bigger, you need to recheck the thoughts of what you're doing. And I think girls, if you're, you know, you will look your best when you're eating organic and paleo, vegan, whatever. When you're eating organic and you're meditating and building your body, you're going to connect with everyone so much more immensely than, you know, the caffeine from the pre-workout you were just on and thinking, oh, I look so good in these jeans, but you're freaking out mentally, you know? So it's, you know, the sexiest thing in the world is connection. We're all looking for connection. We all know it. We're like, man, it's just something about that person. What's about that person is that energy you're feeling from them. And so I think that, you know, I want to show people how being healthy and eating right really empowers you for your dreams. It makes you more attractive in every way. And it's really about just living an awesome, awesome life. And we have different shades of that, whether you're religious, you're not religious, or you're from a different country, or you eat meat or you don't eat meat. We're all not going to be the same. We're not trying to be the same. We're just trying to be our best selves. So be yourself, but be your best self. And, you know, eating healthy foods that help your gut are going to help your life. It's just a win-win, you know? So.
Well, and coming from, that's good advice coming from someone in the modeling world too. You know, so more power to you for giving. I know, I wish we could get to a place. I always use the ratio, like they say 80-20. I feel like almost 90-10. And if 90% of my diet is clean and 10% of it is adjusting for the modern world I live in, allows me to eat cake at my kid's birthday, or drink a beer every once in a while, then cool. And if I'm moving my body and doing what I love, then then for the first time, I think we really see what our ideal physical and emotional and mental self should look like and be like. And it's such a hard world to live in with that stuff, because we aren't cookie cutter. And now that, like, you know, everyone has an airbrush app and all this stuff. I know that I did a podcast a while ago and we really got into this, and I hadn't anticipated it. But I talk about how many post bikini competition people I end up working with for gut issues and all kinds of thyroid problems and anxiety and depression and stuff, because of what they put their body through to get on that stage. And you just want to hug them, because it's the little kid in all of us that just wants to be good enough to be accepted by people, you know?
It is. And I get the competition of it. I've been there, and I really know the people who are extreme about it. I know the feelings of it, and especially if you feel like you're good at it or it really fulfills you in your life. I would just say, my humble opinion, take a step back and look at it. What is your overall goal? Like, if it's physical attraction, you know, when you just think about, like, guys and girls usually want the same thing from each other, even though men have their attributes, women have theirs. It's really like attraction is kind of very similar. If you see a guy and he's big and bulky and sweaty and his skin looks messed up and he looks cracked out, he's not going to be that hot, right? When we see you with the fakeness and the too much going on, it's almost like the same. Look, when your energy is confident and fulfilled and happy and you're really treating yourself well, you're going to shine and you're going to eventually look your best anyways. And it might take 6 months, a year for your body to really heal, but just really ask yourself what your overall goals are. Symptom relief obviously should be number one. Connection, I think, is more important.
The introspective piece.
Connect to yourself or just connecting to people that make your life better, you know? And usually those are people who kind of have some fulfillment inside too. So, I get it. It's hard. We all live in a competitive world. We're trying to get a leg up. We're trying to find our niche, our value, and try to be really good at it. But if it's sacrificing your health, I think it should probably be looked at twice.
Absolutely. I love that advice. That's actually kind of what the next book I'm working on is about. So it's ironic that you started talking about that.
There you go.
So Dane, where can everybody find you if they want more information? Because I know you are bringing on a team so that you can't fulfill the need all by yourself. You're only one man. But the people that you're working with are people who have dealt with a lot, already worked with you, who have done a lot for themselves. And so now you kind of have this ability to work with more people. Where can they find you if someone wants to know more about your program?
So CrohnsColitisLifestyle.com is going to be the best place to go. As you said, one of my goals, as I grow and I have a lot of people I work with, I get fairly booked up pretty quickly with Crohn's colitis patients, is I want to always keep the ability for someone to have someone to talk to on the phone and really just help them make this. This is a very difficult situation. I get that. So I am working on, over the next year, starting a program where people can go through somewhere like your school or go through my program as well, and then become certified a gut coach so that they can start turning one of the worst things that ever happened to them into not only one of the best things, where they can create a self-contracting job and start creating income doing something amazing. We all need to make money. How about we do something where it's really impactful? So how cool would that be if you said, hey, I just got rid of all my symptoms and learned all these amazing things. Now I have a side job where if I'm in Fiji or I'm in China or wherever, I have clients where I can work with them and help them do the same thing and feed my family doing it. I think that's amazing. So the coaching program hopefully will be out over the next year. And we're going to be working on more great products, ebooks, and a full-on book called Going With Your Gut, and a Shield program that is video-based where people can follow video by video of how to create a healing program from the comfort of your home. So a lot of great stuff to come. And as you know, creating a business and really going at it takes an immense amount of energy. And one thing I knew when I was younger, and I said, the same energy it took for me to heal my Crohn's is going to be the same energy it's going to take for me to be successful at creating my business. Mm-hmm. It's like the exact same. It's an immense amount of time, money, energy, sacrifice, doubt, faith. You know, you just got to really get in there. And then so you have your days where you're like, turn on the TV and you're like, don't call. You like throw your phone and you're like, I don't talk about Crohn's. I don't want to hear someone else's problem again. I need a vacation. And then you got to reset, rebuild. And that's where all those empowerments of how you're going to heal your Crohn's or colitis, your IBD, your SIBO are going to help you get ready for the goals you have later in life. So when I get overwhelmed, I go back to my training, I go back to my meditation, I go back to my clean eating, I go back to my lifestyle changes of cultivating positive energy. I get in the sun, I still garden, and you can see some of the plants all around me. I keep an immense amount of living things around me. So I'm always looking and identifying my shield program to help me be, where I want to be in this life and find my purpose. And, I love the fact that I can have a purpose that so impacts everyone out there. So, you can download my complimentary ebook, 6 Steps to Healing Crohn's and Colitis, on my website. We have a new updated version coming out in the next 2 weeks, which will go out on the email list. And, you guys are already doing such a great thing being in this program. So, if there's one follow-up action step today, ask yourself, just who do you want to be? Just imagine, everything about your life, about where you would like to be, and start asking yourself how you can start cultivating that through your health today, because maybe your health is holding you back.
Exactly. That's great advice, Dane. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That's it. That's going to conclude our interview. Would you like to do the closing for me?
Yes. Thank you all for watching and tuning in to Gut Health School. Yeah.
Thank you for watching HWCA'A and our connection here to Dane with Crohn's and Colitis Lifestyle. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this month's Empower Healing Stories, and tune in. Like I keep saying, you can find out more on our website at holisticwellnesscoaches.com, and they're coming out with an app for education pretty soon, where we will have you be able to turn on push notifications or go through the schedule and see any of the featured interviews or classes. Some will be closed to students only, some will have elite access, and many will be free and open to the public. So even if you're not someone who's interested in coaching, that you just want connections to empowering, like Dane said, surround yourself by the things that are going to make you better and stronger and get you in the direction you want to be, and you will get there. So thank you for joining, and have a great day. We'll see you next month.
See you guys.